Hi, welcome to Coffee and Closers. I'm Nikolai Bedore, and I want to personally invite you to join me and one of today's top performing sales stars for a cup of coffee and authentic conversation. And our collective goal is that you will walk away with tangible knowledge that you can apply to your sales efforts today. Are you ready? Grab a cup, fill it up, and let's get into another episode of Coffee and Closers. Well, thanks and welcome to Coffee and Closers. I'm your host, Nikolai Bedore, and today we have ourselves a show. Arguably the hottest name in seven-figure selling. This guy is a LinkedIn legend. If you're ever on LinkedIn, you've seen Brandon. And he's just a raw, real CEO, and he's still selling, which I find incredible. Still selling next to his reps on the floor today. Our teacher today is going to be Brandon Bornancin. But before we jump in, I want to make sure that for our new folks, usually what we do is we do a virtual, when we used to be live, who's new? Raise your hand, actually hit us up in the chat if you're on right now. Let us know who's new so that our closer community can welcome you with open arms. I'll take a second for you guys to do that. Let's see who's in there. All right. So everyone that's new, welcome. Closers, for all you experienced members of the closers community, please welcome our new folks. Reach out to them, link in with them. And so for you new folks, what we do is, I want to, kind of what to expect for your first timer. So for the next 30 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Brandon 3 to 5 questions for about the first 25 to 30 minutes. The reason we do this is recorded and distributed as a podcast, Coffee and Closers, as you can imagine. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere podcasts exist. This one's one you're going to probably want to re-listen to because no doubt Brandon's going to drop some gold. So for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to ask Brandon some questions. And after that, show opens up to you. It's your show. So you get a chance to ask this, in my opinion, living legend, huge fan, anything that you've ever wanted to know about prospecting, about seven-figure closing, how to start a company. Brandon started a few. Anything you want to know, it's going to be your half hour and we're going to extend it to the max. And then after that, we're going to play some tunes, thanks to Alex Rossi, who does our soundtrack. Check out alexrossimusic.com. When the music plays, we're going to be back to chatting it up, networking. So please use the chat box to network. Since we are kind of all stuck inside right now, this used to be where we would network after and grab some coffee together physically. We can't do that today, so we're going to do it virtually. Sound good? So in that meantime, please take down some notes as you're thinking and listen to the show. What questions you'd like to ask Brandon, because you're going to get a chance to do so. But before we get in, I want to thank some people that make this possible. Believe it or not, this doesn't just happen at a snap of fingers. A lot of hard work, and as well as sponsorship dollars that come in to make this possible. First of all, I want to thank our team, Ellen. I want to thank Jen. I want to thank Kate. Kate, you're going to be hearing from a little bit. She's going to be our MC during the question bit. I want to thank Gario, who's running tech, and I want to thank Allison for making all of this possible. From a look and design standpoint. Now let's talk about our sponsors. Who makes this all possible? Well, let's thank Kate first and foremost. She's a member of the team. She's also a sponsor, a Noble. They elevate brands, they elevate businesses, they get your story right so that you can close more deals. Check out a Noble. Back 40, it's my man Aaron Eggert, a fractional VP of sales from somebody who has led 300% growth year over year when he was in the field. Hit up Back 40 for explosive growth. Time on Target. My man Kevin, that is close more deals with sales automation. Kevin is an absolute guru when it comes to sales automation and kind of connecting you with those kind of conversations. So check out Time on Target. And it's, of course, Jeff over at Red Birch, premier sales recruiting from somebody who has sat in your spot. From sales rep to director, he's done it all. So go check out Jeff. And then TriNet, one of our long-standing partners, they are end-to-end outsourced sales solution. They put people first, and for companies that are in growth mode right now, believe it or not, or for those companies, unfortunately, they're going through some downsizing, TriNet is crucial. So here's who you're going to hear from. So my name is Nikolai Bedore. I'm your host. I'm co-founder of Closers Media and the host of Coffee and Closers. I founded a handful of startups myself, helped lead a couple to acquisition, but I've been carrying a bag all along the way as a top sales performer. And today I lead our virtual our close coaching team. So a really exciting offering that we've brought to the table. We've been beta testing it. So if you're interested in your teams and individuals making more money you've ever seen before, hit me up, Nikolai at closersmedia.com. Now for our guest. I'm not just a hair club member or whatever that saying is. I'm a huge fan of this 7-figure closer. So Brandon Bornancin is a 7-figure closer. He's done it multiple times. In fact, him and I paired up over at IBM. He's a 2-time best-selling author. This is his most latest, called Seven-Figure Social Selling. And he is a selling CEO, which I really find amazing. So he's next to his reps. He's closing down deals. He's prospecting with them day in and day out. Please give a warm Coffee and Closer welcome to Mr. Brandon Bornancin.
Hey, thanks for having me. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Appreciate being here. This is going to be awesome.
Absolutely, man. I'm more than honored to have you on the show. We were talking previously for you guys at home, but Brandon was supposed to be here. He was going to be our next, after Chris Lindahl, was going to be our next theater show, and we were going to go take him for a rip behind a surf boat here locally. But unfortunately, things changed, and so we got to do this virtually. But thanks for joining us from Columbus, Ohio, man.
Yeah, excited to be here. And I just said it's funny because typically we're in my office studio, and we had to build a home office studio. This is our first show in the home office studio. So hopefully audio and sound is great. And we're just thrilled to give as much value to you as possible. I just document everything I learned, and I want to share it with you so that you can do it bigger, better, smarter, faster than I ever could. And that's the goal of today.
That's the thing I've always appreciated about you is you teach, so I don't know if you guys have ever seen this video. It went viral. You got to check it out. Where a girl, was it a Boy Scout or was it a Girl Scout or Boy Scout?
A high schooler or grade schooler selling boosters knocked on my door.
Yeah. And then Brandon goes
like prospecting, and I'm like, my video guy, Nick, come here. So I had a video person with me at the time.
What's up, Nick?
And I was like, is that someone knocking doors right now? I got excited. I thought it was like insurance or someone selling vacuums or whatever, or the steak knives. I'm like, all right, let's answer. And then it was this kid selling boosters. I'm like, fuck it, let's go hit the streets. And his pitch was better than my pitch, but we got to sell a lot of tickets, which was awesome.
I love that video. I'm like, someday I'm gonna have this guy in the show, and here we are, man. So I want you to tell your story, right? I've kind of ripped through your background, all the successes, but you started with some pretty humble roots. Would you mind taking us kind of back to the beginning, back to your youth, and tell us your sales story?
Yeah, awesome. No problem. And I'll make it super brief. So I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. My mom and dad came up lower class. They worked 4 jobs. My mom worked at a bank and a grocery store. My father worked in construction and then selling computers at Macy's. And it wasn't called Macy's. It was called Maycom at the time. And luckily, and they just always did everything they could to get by, working 4 full-time jobs. And luckily, my dad was at the right place, right time. We're a sales executive of a technology startup. Came into Maycom to buy a new computer. Like, this is when they were selling Apple II computers and Apple I computers in retail stores. And he sold him the computer. The sales executive was super impressed, offered my father a sales internship. So he ended up taking the sales internship for less money than what he was making selling at Macy's computers and doing construction on the weekends, and ended up moving to New York, and then eventually went from sales intern to inside sales, to outside sales, to sales director, to sales VP, to building the first $1 billion software company for a small company called CA Technologies. So I got to see firsthand my family, my mom spent Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday coupon clipping and taking me and my sister to garage sales, like in her little Nissan Sentra. Like, growing up, Thursday, okay, we're going to hit all the garage sales to buy clothes, to buy whatever, toys, you name it. To then, like, okay, every 4 years, we moved into a new house, and then moved into a bigger house, and then then you see the nice cars and the mansions, and I just got to see firsthand what it was like to go from super poor to super rich because of sales. So when I was getting into, when I was thinking about going to college, I just knew I had to get into sales, like my father did, and ended up going to Ohio University because I'm from Ohio, obviously. And it was the only school that had the #1 sales school in the nation. So this is like sales curriculum at a college. And it had the #1 business school in my state. And then it had the #1 party school from a number of magazines. So it was like I called it, it's not a twofer, it's like a threefer. where it was like the best of three things. And then when I got to that school, I launched a online sales and marketing company for the gambling industry that did about $10 million in sales. So I was one of the richest kids in college from 18, 19, 20. And then they made online gambling illegal. So I was marketing and selling for party poker, full tilt poker, poker stores, you name it. And I first went knocking on door to door to our dorm room. Then I took it online, and that just massively scaled. Well, then 2007, U.S. SAFE-Port Act by President Bush made it illegal to gamble online in the U.S. So that market just disappeared. So I'm like, okay, I've got all this cash, millions of dollars. I'm going to start a second company called InMobile at the age of 22 because I thought that text message marketing was going to be the future. We tried to sell to all these massive companies, all these massive brands. We got a few logos like Vitamin Water, Jack Daniels, you name it. But I had massive expenses. I didn't know how to sell B2B. The poker was B2C. So then we lost millions, and I got my ass kicked over the course of 3.5 years, and we shut down the company. And then my partners went to build products at IBM, and they're like, hey, you should go sell for IBM and join us. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to sell for anyone, like the largest company in the world at the time was IBM. So I went and sold for IBM Interactive for the next 4 years. And then I got approached by Google to sell for their top search agency, and then went and sold for Google. And then when I was selling at IBM and Google, I hated how time consuming, expensive, and difficult it was to find all the people that I needed to sell to. My team and I, we were spending millions of dollars with these sales, outdated, expensive databases. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, search engine like Google. You can type in anything, get all the results that you want. I was like, why can't salespeople type in any title in the world and get every single current person that works with that current title at the current company? And then why can't we use AI to research the perfect email, cell phones, and insights? So I built the prototype, went from, a few $1 million in sales to $100 million in sales, became a millionaire again. And I was like, you know what? My mission in life is I made over $1 million as a W-2 salesperson. My goal in life is to get every single salesperson in the world to the seven-figure club, President's Club. I want every single salesperson to make over $1 million in sales. And I took all the money I have in my savings. I leveraged the house, everything I own, invested it into building the company Seamless.ai, which I'm CEO and founder of. And we're on a mission to empower the world to connect opportunity. And I want every single user that's on Seamless using it to make over $1 million in sales. And that's our kind of purpose.
And I want to talk to you about Seamless in a second, because I find it, you'll get there, but I got a side note here. I heard a couple of things. Now you're going to see where my mind goes. When you were, the richest kid in college that you knew, so I was drinking Keystone Light, right? That's what I was drinking. Those were my kegs. What kind of beer were you drinking? Sam Adams? Like what was good back when you were in college?
No, I was drinking Natty Light. I mean, just like Keystone Light, I was drinking Natty Light, except I could afford. I mean, it was wild. Like, part of fraternities and whatnot, and like the bar, I would just put everything on my tab because like it's unlimited cash. I had 3 cars in college on campus and a bike. I had all 3 to 4 vehicles all towed in different locations at once. I don't know how you pull that off, but it was just awesome to I remember I played online poker and I was good, but I would also lose a shitload of money. And I'm like, well, what if I could market and sell for them because I love poker and I could easily sell people to join these sites. And I just turned like my passion into the business, and then it blew up.
You were selling pickaxes, man. That's sage old advice, right?
Exactly.
Don't go for the gold, exactly. Sell pickaxes. So just for time, thank you for giving that background. I think there's a lot of people that don't know your humble roots. They just see all the stuff on LinkedIn and whatnot, and they don't know that, what sales accomplished for you. I mean, I have my story of what sales has done for me, and I think everyone on the show has had something. I've yet to have somebody say, life was perfect, and then I got into sales. It's always, you got to have somewhat of a chip on your shoulder. And sometimes that chip is, hey, I want to develop this software, or maybe I'm a developer and I'm shy or whatever, and I want my idea to be heard. That's their chip. Now they have to learn how to sell. So we've got all kind of walks of life probably in the chat bar right now hanging out. But let's hear about Seamless, because I think you had the opportunity. First of all, you did online marketing. That's why I find this interesting is, most people would look at that background and say, well, why not marketing automation? Why don't you build the world's best CRM or some marketing automation tool, but instead you built a company focused around leads, like data. Something that people don't realize the value of until they don't have it. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about why is a lead list so important to a salesperson?
Yeah, so I got to learn from in mobile, like my dad was super successful because he prospected all the time. He built the list, he sold a list 24/7 and built this billion-dollar company, scaling a sales team of 1,000 plus people, right?
Yeah.
And I learned from that. And then my online poker company did so well because I had thousands of prospects right around me in college, in the dorm rooms. That I took it online and opened up a global opportunity to tap into anyone that was interested in playing poker when it was the hottest thing on TV and everywhere around the world. In mobile was when I got my ass kicked, and it was because I didn't have the list of the people that I needed to sell to, and I didn't know how to do B2B sales. So there's two factors. I lost $3 to $4 million. Company failed, longest 4 years of my life, because I didn't have the list of the B2B advertisers and marketers I needed to sell to, and I didn't know how to do B2B sales, the training. And I believe that you fundamentally need both. And then when I started at IBM and Google, when I was selling for them, I'm like, okay, I need the list, because obviously when I had the list of people to sell to, I was successful. And then when I didn't, I failed. And, when you just really understand that it's just the numbers game, right? Of course, it's building relationships and value. But like what I did to get to 1 million, to get to 10 million, to get to 100 million, it's just more numbers, more people, more strategy. And that's when the lists and the leads are the lifeblood. Like the life you want, the products you want, the family you want, the marriage you want, the houses you want, the vacations you want is all going to be powered by the products that you sell. The only way to sell those products is with the lists. And, I learned how painful it was at IBM and Google when they were missing all of my total addressable market of like, this was, 5 to 10 years ago, there were no marketers in databases. There were no they were missing all these C-suites. So I'm like, there's got to be a way to just automate all of it using technology, and then works with really smart developers from Google, IBM, and my network to kind of do that. But I believe activity in the list and doing your I call it the 7-figure sales math. It's like, whatever your goal is, I believe everyone should make 7 figures in sales. Literally throw it out there. You take $1 million. Let's say your average commission is $10,000. Let's say your salary is $100,000. Okay, you need to make $900,000. How many deals do you need to get to the $900,000 in commission? Okay. And then once you break that down, how many leads do you need? How many leads to booked appointments? How many booked appointments to close one sales? And then how many calls, emails, social touches do you need to get there? You got to do your 7-figure sales math. And that's like the foundation of the house. And then it's like, okay, now I got to make the calls, the emails, the social touches. How do I close? How do I pitch? How do I deliver value? They're just pillars of the house that ensure you build an empire in sales.
Dude, it's funny. We use Seamless for our end-to-end. So we've got our lead gen conversion to close offering, our system that we've been just launched, and it all begins with data. We focus so much when we meet with new clients on just let's find, you called it TAM or TAL or whatever you want to call it, but let's call it your lowest hanging fruit. It all begins with the data and archives that we pull from what's been successful, but then it has to be, all right, now that we know we know the targets, what's their cell number? Like what's their email? Because there's nothing more frustrating when the bounce rate is more than the view rate. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever it's called, open rate. Like it's so frustrating. That
100%.
Up until I met you, man, we really struggled with. There's a couple of decent players, but at the big corporate places I've been at, we never had creating their lead list was the hardest thing. But I want to butt in here really quick, because some people may be, and I don't want to be fair to those people that are brand new to sales. Not just the show, but due to sales. Maybe this isn't your natural habitat, right? Some people be listening to Brandon going 7 figures selling. I call bullshit. I'll never do that. You said something about accuracy of data, and you said activity. And I want to focus on the second one, if you will.
Yeah.
What could you say to those people that are listening to you going, oh, maybe him, but I couldn't do that?
Yeah, there's 4 key pillars to be, the 7-figure sales system. And anyone can do it, right? Like the opportunist sees opportunity in every difficulty and every challenge. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, right? So you just have to believe, like, literally we hit this massive goal that we were supposed to hit at the end of the year, and we hit it 6 months into the year. Literally the next day, I doubled the goal. It was like whatever we just did, I doubled the goal, I doubled the quota. And it's not because I want to put aggressive numbers on our sales team. It's because I believe we're not living up to our potential. And I realized after getting my ass kicked at Immobile and then selling for IBM, like about a year into selling for IBM, I wasn't living my potential. I was like, why are there people making $500,000 to $1 million a year? Like if they could do it, I could do it. And then once you start to believe, like if Brandon could do it, then I could do it. Like I saw all these people writing these books and I'm like, dude, if they could do it, I could do it. I was like, anything you want to do, like podcasts right now, books, selling, you just have to figure out, like, if someone else could do it, then you could do it. Like if someone else can become a billionaire, you can become a billionaire. So when looking at the making 7 figures in sales, at first is mindset. You just have to believe like, okay, I will do whatever it takes to learn whatever I need to learn to get there. And then you have to find people like Nikolai and people like me who have done it, right? So my 4 key pillars to making 7 figures in sales is number 1, the 7-figure sales math. If you want to make $1 million, you have to calculate what you need to do to hit that number in leads, in activity. And then number 2, scripts. To make 7 figures in sales, you have to move so fast. And I used to, like, when I started building this Seamless company and when I was selling for IBM and Google, like all these people were like, no, I don't believe in scripts. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me when Leonardo DiCaprio goes on the Wolf of Wall Street to shoot Wolf of Wall Street, he has no idea what he's going to say. He's just going to make it up. Scorsese's like, you know what? Hey, Leonardo, I'm going to pay you tens of millions of dollars. Just come on set, make up whatever you want to say, and just roll and we'll shoot and it will be amazing.
Right.
They give him like a manuscript of 150 pages. He has to memorize it, and then he goes on it and he crushes it. So,
Dude, I'm with you. You're a, not a Cleveland guy, but you're an Ohio guy. I mean, LeBron James, one of the best basketball players of all time since he was like, 11? Been told he's the king.
Yep.
He has a coach, right? He studies the playbook, right? He doesn't just go out there and wing it. I mean, sorry, I didn't want to butt in, but like I so second scripts. I'm using a script right now. Like I use scripts in my sales activities every day.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you look at Tom Brady, you look at LeBron, you look at Kobe Bryant, all of the greatest in the world, they win and then they start practicing again right away the next day. And right when we hit our goal, our Q1 and Q2 goal, that was supposed to be our year goal, when we hit it in the first half of the year, I literally woke up early. I told everyone, celebrate that night. Tomorrow we come in and we double the goal and we reset. So scripts are critical. And like, I've used scripts to generate $100 million in sales. I've used scripts to raise millions in venture funding. I've used scripts to prospect and interview some of the most successful people in the world for the Sales Secrets from the Top 1% show, you name it. Like, you just have to realize a script is it's just the lifeblood for you to be able to play chess and to know every single play before the opponent makes their move. Like if automatically, like I see it like it's the Matrix. I'm not interested. No budget. It's too expensive. Already working with someone. Send me more information. What's your guarantee? It's not a good time. Call me back later. I'm not the right person. You need to talk to my boss. What's this regarding? Dude, you need to be able, when those get thrown out, boom, 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 you've got 20 different ways to respond to each single situation, like you're a poker player, like you're a chess player, because then you can use the best script with the highest probability of odds of getting past the objection to closing the sale. So that's pillar number 2, 7-figure sales math, scripts. Pillar number 3, training. You need to be constantly learning and studying and training, buying all the books, watching all the podcasts, joining all the masterminds, joining all the courses. I'm always training every day. I'm trying to learn stuff that I don't know how to do or stuff that I haven't done before. You need to just be always training or else you're going to lose it. You use it or you lose it. And it's like working out. The minute you stop eating healthy and working out, the bigger you're going to get. And, and you just have to always be training. And then the 4th pillar is, and with training, there's always someone that has accomplished something that you've done before. Like, this is the thing. Like, whatever you want to do in life, there are people who have already done it. There's billionaires who have become billionaires. There's millionaires who have become millionaires in sales, who write books, who have podcasts, who do courses, who build software. You name it. You just have to find the people that have done what you want to do and then go learn and master whatever they tell you to do to accomplish what they just accomplished. It's simple. And I never really realized the power of knowledge until I like put my ego aside. Because when I first launched my company and it generated over $10 million in sales, 18, 19, 20, I was egotistical. I didn't want to take anyone's advice. Well, guess what? Then I go launch my second company. I get my ass kicked. I lose 3 to 4 million. And it was the worst, longest 3 to 4 years of my life. I didn't listen to any advisors, investors, anyone in my network. I took no advice because I thought I was the smartest person. Whenever you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're actually the dumbest and the weakest. And that's why knowledge is power. Everyone has done what you want to do, and you just have to go find them. And then the fourth pillar is activity. Like, the 7-figure sales math will tell you the amount of activity you need to do. And I always 3, 5, 10x the level of activity that you need to be successful, because we always underestimate what we can do in a year and overestimate what we can do in a day. We'll always be like, oh, I overestimate what I can accomplish in a day, but you always underestimate what you can accomplish in a week. Well, you overestimate what you can accomplish in a week, but you underestimate what you can accomplish in a month. Same goes, you overestimate what you can accomplish in a month, but you underestimate what you can accomplish in a year. So it's all about daily, persistent, consistent pursuit of maximizing your potential and going at it day in, day out. Set big activity goals, put it in the work 7 days a week. Like, when I was writing 7-figure social selling, I'm like, I'm going to write 5 pages a day. If I write 5 pages a day, that's, 5 times 30, that's 150 pages. Well, guess what? In 45 to 60 days, I wrote 750 pages. And this is a guy who was in high school and grade school where, teachers were telling me not to go to college because they didn't think I'd be successful. It's like, but I just stayed to it. I was like, hey, if I do this every day and I share what I learned, boom, 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 boom. So activity trumps all. You have to be consistent. And those are the 4 pillars in what I call the 7-figure sales system, which we invented as from our knowledge of what it takes to go from 0 to $1 million in sales.
I love it, man. So we're at the top of the hour, and I'm going to rifle off some questions, but I got a couple that I want to take a minute on. So you said something very intriguing, and I love it. Like, when you said, when you think you know everything, you are now the dumbest person. You've completely killed your growth. You're now the dumbest person in the room. And it's interesting how the top 1%, I know you've got your podcast. We focus on top 1%ers too. And consistently they're reading, consistently they're studying, and consistently and humbly they're learning from their peers. Do you know what I mean? And then there's everybody else. You've interviewed sales legends like the Wolf of Wall Street. You mentioned him, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, etc. Right? But I would like to kind of hear, who is, now that you've humbled yourself, you've learned from those mistakes, and now you're absorbing, who is your sales hero maybe right now, or the person that really offered you the best advice that you still use today, and what was it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the best, it's not one person. It's this obsession with improvement. So, and I think I just personally learned that by trying to grow, and you think that you're going to be happy by buying all the different Benzes or Ferraris or big houses or whatever, or, but that's not what eventually will make you happy. It's this obsession and hunger to just always be improving, setting a goal and going and moving towards that goal. And, I think I learned that just from studying all of the experts that I've interviewed. And I think I learned that just from having it all, losing it all. And I'm never more happy when I set a big goal and then I'm just doing whatever it takes to optimize that goal. That would be my best piece of advice is happiness, I believe, is bullshit. You can eat, cake and be happy every day, right? That doesn't mean it's good for you. Or I love surfing. Mikolai and I, we talk about this. I surf a lot. I've got a wake surf boat, and I love surfing and wakeboarding. But that doesn't, doing it in the moment doesn't make me happy. It's like constantly improving. So, okay, I want to build a company that does $1 million a day. And then I'm on this constant state of improvement to go from 0 to $1 million a day in revenue. I've never done that before. I don't know how to do it. And it's just like all the challenges, trying to solve them and overcome them that you encounter on this goal from 0 to 1 in one day. And then getting excited about all the very micro small wins that you achieve on that goal. Like, I know it will take me 5 to 10 years to achieve that goal, but like, that's the goal. And I know everything that I learned to get there will bring me closer and closer to that goal. And it's this constant state of improvement that you have to get excited about. Like, happiness, I think, is a state of, it's a temporary, but if like you're always working every day to improve, to accomplish something bigger than it takes you a step further.
Absolutely. All right. So you've written an entire book. I'll plug it again, because I absolutely love it, and I actually use it for some of we've been doing some A/B testing on messaging and stuff, cold outreach and inbound stuff. You've written an entire book on scripts, right? In this book.
Yeah, and we actually wrote 16 books, which is insane.
And there's that.
Out there yet. Yeah.
Which is incredible. So for this book, though, which is your latest, because I love it, guys. You got to check this book out if you haven't already. I don't know about you, but I'm always reading sales books, self-help books. It's just kind of my deal. But this one kind of gives you a little bit of backstory, and the rest is seriously scripts, go-to stuff. So I'm gonna ask this question anyway, because I want to know yours. There's a ton of knowledge in here that you've probably your team. But what is your absolute go-to prospecting cadence? Like, what's the subject line? What's the script? Don't hold anything back. Our closers community would love to hear kind of what have you used consistently that you've had kind of consistent success from?
Yeah. So there's all different types of scripts. So I'll just go into calling first.
Okay.
Right when I call someone, I always compliment them right away.
Like, give me an example.
Hey,
like, ring.
Hey, Michaela, it's Brandon at Seamless. I just want to call and say, man, huge fan of Coffee and Closers. I love the episode you did with Brandon. The 7-figure social selling shit was just insane. I bought the book. It changed my life. By the way, you got a quick second? So off the rip. So psychologically, and I learned this, like going out, and when someone compliments you, like all your guards go down and you become super receptive. And like I was on podcasts and I just noticed this just from like LinkedIn messages. The people that complimented me, I immediately got back to right away. The people that just hit me up with a sales pitch, I immediately ignored. And then I'm like, holy shit, why do I keep responding to the people that compliment me? It's like anyone that, hey, Michaela, I love your shirt, man. That color, that different, thing on your shirt looks awesome, man. Where can I get it? Like, dude, I love your hair, how you part it, whatever. Like whatever type of compliment, it just makes people feel good. And when you make people feel good, they're receptive to your message. So right away, another example I use is like if I'm pitching Marketo, which is a marketing automation software. Hey, John, love everything that you're doing over there at Marketo. Your marketing automation software is best in breed, head and shoulders above Eloqua, HubSpot, any others. By the way, you got a quick second? Right away, they don't know who you are. Like, are you a client? Are you with the press? Are you a salesperson? Also, you complimented them, so they're going to be 100% more receptive to your pitch. And then I go right into it with like a value-driven proposition. Awesome, John. Well, hey, it's Brandon over at Seamless. Look, like I said, I love everything that you're doing over there at Marketo. And I noticed that you're probably selling to a lot of marketers, your marketing automation software to the Fortune 500. Well, I've got cell phones and emails to every single marketer at the Fortune 500 that you should probably be selling to. And right now, I'm reaching out to give you a free list of 1,000 marketers, their cell phones, their emails. I just want to give it to you for free. And if you use it to book a ton of appointments and you love what you see, then let's set up a meeting and I can show you the software that I use to build that list. How does that sound? And how does that sound? Fair enough, whatever, you name it. And I try to come in with value. And then and then if they ask like, hey, who's this again? hey, it's Brandon at Seamless. We've helped Adobe go from $3 million to $17 million in sales in 90 days. We've helped, Google go from 17 million to 32 million in 7 months. And then I drop in, I'll say who I am, and then I'll drop in social proof. And my social proof statement is all about company from X to Y in Z timeframe. I took Google from 7 million to 14 million in 82 business days. It just makes people realize, holy shit, that's a lot of money. That's really fast. When you throw in tangibles, instead of saying yeah, we helped Google increase sales 337%. What the fuck does that mean? Does that mean you took them from $100 to $337? Does that mean you took them from, $1 billion to $5 billion? And then you go back into your call to action. So that's my favorite cold call script. And I use the compliment and the value. I believe you should always bring value to people every time you interact with them, and because it's absolutely critical. And sorry, I'm seeing Gario's video on there. I don't know if that's supposed to be there, but all good. So yeah, that you always want to bring value. What is an asset or something that you can deliver of value? Because no one gives a shit about you. They only care about themselves, and they only want something that's going to help them make more money, save more money, make their life faster, easier, better, bigger. That's why, when I launched the Seamless.ai, I was like, dude, if we could help every single person in the world generate $1 million in sales, could I, 100,000 people, $1 million, it's like $1 trillion. Dude, if I could accomplish that mission, and you got to be really focused on the success of others. If you chase commission, you're going to have commission breath, and people are going to feel it. When I became obsessed with helping these Google advertisers, I literally would visualize if they did not go with Google and they went with Microsoft or Yahoo, the woman who's the VP of digital marketing would literally make that decision. And then the next month she would go home, her CEO would fire her, her husband and her, they'd get divorced. She would lose her house, and her and the 3 kids would be living on the streets. So I just got in this mindset of if they do not go with us, I know that we're going to maximize ROI. We're going to maximize revenue. We're going to maximize results. And if they make a decision, if they don't go with us and they don't go with Google, which I know will deliver the greatest ROI and revenue, the world will end for them. And the life that they want, the family they want, the houses they want, the products they want, everything that they want in life will be lost forever. And I think when you have that extreme of you're so sold on helping the prospects, that's another big one. So I think making sure that your messaging is sold on taking your prospects from where they're at today to where they want to go to be successful.
That's amazing, man. I love this, by the way. I've been waiting for this interview. We've gone long. I have one more question. And then guys, I can hear everyone getting they're revving their engines. I don't know if you can see it in the chat box, but they're all right, when do we get our chance? I'm just gonna ask one question. And this, again, this is for all salespeople, right? But a lot of us experienced ones, there's just something we want to help the next up. And I always want to end every episode with this from someone like you. You've seen sales take your life from rags to riches, literally, right? You've lost everything more than once. You've mentioned a couple times today, and sales has pulled you back up. So I guess for our newbies and people just getting into sales, and by the way, Brandon, there's a lot of people, about 40% that attend, that are brand new to sales, but not new to business, right? They got a second chance. They're like, I'm going to start my dream. What can you tell them about sales, and how can you help those people kind of new to it genuinely get excited about their new role, and why should they care? How do they get excited about this new role they're in?
Yeah, sales is the greatest profession in the world. You get to make as much money or as little money as you want, and based on the amount of work that you put into it. And the $1 million, the 7-figure sales math is real. If you want to make $100,000, you could do the math to figure out how many leads, how many calls, how many emails, how many social touches, you name it, meetings, close won deals you need to make 7 figures in sales. It's the only profession where you don't clock in and out. Literally, you can make whatever you want to make. And this is my 3rd time being the CEO. Every single time I'm the CEO, I'm making way less than all of my salespeople. So right. I want to go back to sales, because I made the most when I became a millionaire in sales. You just have the world of opportunity, and you just have to realize, you have to love the product and the people that you serve, and you have to have a bigger mission. Like Seamless, my goal is to get you into the 7-figure President's Club as fast as humanly possible. And that's bigger than me. That's bigger than my company making a lot of money, and bigger than me or our sales team getting commissions. It's about you and creating the life that you've always dreamed of. You have to figure out what's your mission and purpose with your product and the people that you serve. And then also realize with the 7-figure sales math that every outreach, every lead, every call you make, every email, every social touch is worth something. When you do the 7-figure sales math, you can figure out, okay, every lead is worth $5. Every call I make is worth $3. So don't try to calculate the amount of money you'll make like when you close a deal. Use the financial numbers around the leads and the calls and the emails and the social touches and the video outreach to get excited about, man, if I do all this sales activity. Like sales lists and sales activity is critical to sales results. Mm-hmm. And you just have to, it's really hard to stay excited about putting in the work. Shitload of calls, emails, social touches, building lists every day. That's like exhausting and it's hard. But the way that you don't think it's exhausting or hard is when you start to realize, like, every call I'm going to make money. Every social touch I'm going to make money. Every list I build, I'm going to make money. And also make it even bigger than about making money, about the people that you serve. Look at all the people that you're going to help. Like, I know by getting Seamless out into the world, like we hear every single day, people are making millions, hundreds of thousands in 30 days or less using our platform. So I know that even though we're going to make a lot of money, helping a lot of people make a lot of money, look at the bigger impact that you could have on a global scale to help all these people. So just get really excited about all the money you're going to make, and get excited about building the list and putting in the activity. And the math, the 7-figure sales math will help you do that. And you have the greatest job in the world to earn unlimited amounts of income. Whether you're an SDR making 30, 40 grand a base, and you've got the capability to make 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, our SDRs are making over 6 figures. Our AEs are, getting close to $500,000 to $1 million. Like, you can make whatever you want to make. And when my AEs want to make more, I'm like, cool. Well, then figure out how to go up market and go sell to those people, or figure out how to build a bigger team. If you're an SDR, figure out how to scale. How can you automate your list building? How can you automate your script writing so that you can book more appointments, you name it, whatever it is, you are your biggest opportunity for growth. And then you're also your biggest limiting belief, limiting factor to growth. So you can earn and make whatever you want to make, as long as you put your mind to it and you put in the work to achieve it.
Absolutely, man. Brandon, dude, I can't thank you enough for spending time with us, for dropping knowledge, not just on this show, but just what you do for the sales community on LinkedIn and other places. A lot of us say we're going to do things that you do. You just go ahead and get them done. So I just want to know we appreciate you, brother. Thank you for entire closer community. We thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's awesome to share. The reason why I like to share is just to help you guys learn from my mistakes and my successes so that you can get there faster and get to the 7-figure club faster than ever before. So thanks so much for having me, and look forward to all of us helping you make this next year your biggest and best yet.
Absolutely. And guys, check out Seamless.ai. In fact, we're going to have a link. Brandon let us let you guys try it out for free. So we got a link we're going to be posting in the chat, and we'll also have it in the recap. Don't forget to check out our new website. It's going to be launching very soon, where we're going to be officially launching our virtual close coaching and our end-to-end lead gen conversion to close system. Brandon, we were talking about that prior. He's extremely psyched about it too. So reach out to Gario, Garrio, at closersmedia.com for any information on that to get signed up. All right, so what do we think? What'd you learn? Well, if you like that, check out Coffee&Closers.com for upcoming episodes, recordings, and more. And don't forget to check out our sponsors. Each one has been hand-selected. They're best in class. Until next time, we'll see you at the next Coffee&Closers. Cheers.
Live, come on, live. Live a life we love. Gotta live, I said live. Live a life